And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Market Recap, Monday, June the 27th. I'm John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. It's good to your time. It's good to see all my friends and family. As always, a very interesting trading day. We had so many different nuances saying different things in our equities markets today. It's going to be a really fascinating review today, I think, to really take a look at what we were facing this morning and how things actually panned out and why maybe they panned out that way. As far as news is concerned, everybody's favorite stock app, Robinhood shares, they halted up about 12% after FTX began to seek a buyout deal. The G7, from what I'm hearing from the underground, is moving closer to ditching the vow to end fossil fuels. The EIA is still in a system restoration, still no update on crude, gasoline, or diesel from last week. And we may be lucky to get some information this week, it seems. And pending home sales that came out this morning after the market forecast, they were up 0.7%. They were looking for down 3.7. So at least for now, home sales holding up. As always, make sure you hit the lucky like button. Share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome. Going to say good afternoon to everybody. Good afternoon, Glitter's Sandwich, Scott Saw, and he conquered. Tachyon. Glitter finds that he likes ranging markets. That was have always been my specialty. Because you really, when we see what happened in the S&Ps today, that first half hour of the day today really put in the extremes, except for one weak little extension of the range to the downside, was a really good range-bound day. And if you trade to that, you can put together some really good days. I'm glad that you learned that about yourself today, Glitter Sandwich. The group coaching webinar today, there was a problem. I don't know what happened. Somehow the link got deleted, so I had to set up a whole new link and a whole new thing for the group coaching. This is going to be the new link, and it should be the link until the end of the year. So I'm hoping that people are able to find us again. That, again, the link I just put in is the new link for Wednesday's session. Tomorrow we do have Make Hogue Money, and that one is still okay so far. So I'm going to put that one in as well this afternoon so we can get ready. Okay, there's a link to the link to get to Make Hogue Money. And I apologize. I was getting all ready for it, and I opened up Zoom, and poof, group coaching was gone. But so I had to set it up again. Didn't have enough time to really get that link to anybody, so we did not have the session today. Looking forward to the session on Wednesday because we had Ute really with some good questions on self-knowledge, market knowledge, combining the two of them with a strategy to find success. All right. Tachyon up 365 today in the practice account. Regular trading hour in the right direction. Good job. Chilling with Dylan. Spencer, man, I had a rough morning, so close to being funded, and I took a big step back. It's only Monday, though. Just take it easy, Spencer. So often do we hear that when we get to that goal, that profit target, all we want to do is get to that profit target, so maybe we just step out of our strategy a little bit to try and get to it. Not a good idea. If you did stay in strategy and it didn't work today, just stay in your process, stay in strategy. You'll get there as soon as possible. Maybe tomorrow would be a good day for Spencer to get funded. We do have to remember we have GDP on Wednesday. GDP is it's going to be an important number. A lot of eyeballs are going to be on that, and I think that's part of the reason we ended up so range bound today in our equities. Jerry is awake. Hi there. I hope I'm awake by now too. Eddie, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday to you. Joe, one trade, 11 points. Staying in the game. Eventually we'll pass step 2 of the combine. One of the hardest things I've ever done. It is not easy. That's for sure. Bill Phillips, good afternoon. Autocliss. Ed Nolson, good to see you. I do not have any promotions for the combine at this time, but it is good to see your smiling face here. Eric Oglin, good to see you. Good afternoon. And my goodness, it's good to see everybody. Tachyon, so it was on your end, not mine. Good to know. You should announce it on Discord. As soon as I did set up the new link, my guy Dolby, I'm sure, started putting it on Discord and putting it on all the social. If it didn't get there soon enough, I do apologize. That's a really good thought, though, Tachyon. Next time I'll be more on top of that on the Top Step Discord, sure. William, good to see you. Nobody, hello. DK. Nicholas, hey, good afternoon. Got caught in a losing trade overnight, but turned it around and nailed the target around 38.93, walking away with about $600. Thanks again for sharing that photo of your print. No problem, Nicholas. I'm always here to help, and I've got a lot of kind of exchange and floor related artwork around here. Maybe we'll do a tour one of these days. Kyle, good to see you. Ednelson, it's always a pleasure to see you as well. Very nice. All right, so the markets this morning or today I should say, we had crude oil kind of entering a potential bear flag. It seems a little more than a bear flag. Price tested all the way to weekly kickoff high in crude oil. The E-mini, S&P, and the NASDAQ, there was a lot of conflicting nuances. They really kept the price range bound. The first half hour of the range was the entire day's range until after 2 p.m. when we had that little weak range extension to the downside, and then market just returned back to rotational activity. I think a lot of that, of course, is waiting for the GDP number. The NASDAQ faced really the same conflicting nuances. I knew we were going to have a little bit of a challenge moving higher once we left the opening range at the dead high of the session in the S&Ps. We did take one little look above the opening range in the NASDAQ, but in large part, the most of the day was below the opening range. Gold, it was an okay range, just kind of a random inside balanced move. Very difficult to get into those, and very difficult even more so to stay in them to find some real good opportunity. It was an all right range, but it wasn't all that easy to find. The euro overnight inventory adjustment brings really a good trade location for a test of the upper area of balance. In other words, last week's high. The 10-year rates creeping higher. Futures leave gaps all over the place. I think that 10-year market is in a bit of a disarray here, and it's to be expected, I think. Nat gas, a best trade location just after the open on a test down to last week's low, and after that it was all buyers. After that, I don't know if there was some sort of news or anything that came out, but that's what we did. George, where is Lacey? She's usually lying at my feet here. She's around here somewhere. Maybe she'll come by and pay us a visit. So why don't we jump ahead and go and just kind of look through these charts briefly, see what kind of activity, see what we see. I think the most important charts we're going to be seeing, or the most important chart we're going to be looking at today, is the E-mini S&Ps, because there were so many nuances that were against the other nuances, and it was just a very difficult day to make any picks. But the fact that we had the initial balance remain the extremes for the better part of the day. I mean, it just offered relatively cheap opportunities all throughout the day. Selling high, buying low, selling high, buying low. It was one of those days. If you can pick it out, if you can see it coming, you can make a lot of money on those. I used to call them cash register days, because you're making money on the downside and the upside and the downside and the upside. My brother Rick is here. Good to see you, Rick. Love you. We're just about to jump into the charts. Let's take a look. So here's the crude oil daily. We're kind of looking at the idea that this may end up being a head and shoulders. We did get a pretty decent look at weekly kickoff high here, 109.50, and we did not see a big increase in open interest yesterday. I'm gonna look up the actual here for crude oil. So we lost 9,600 on this up move on Friday on lower volume. Today, lower volume still. If we lose open interest tonight through today's session, is that going to be good for continuation to the upside? I mean, anything can change at just about any time, but I'm not looking at Friday's loss in open interest, and today, if we lose open interest, that's going to kind of tell me that this 2-day rally we've got going here doesn't have a lot of power behind it. It's kind of hollow. There's no new business, no new buying, no new interest in this market. So we're going to have to see what that open interest looks like tomorrow morning. We're kind of looking at this as a bear flag. Well, we continued above that today. Weekly kickoff high 109.50. Market, I believe, closed just above it. I think our settlement's going to be right around 109.60, and we're going to have to see how things play out tomorrow. Again, this could end up being a bear flag if we end up taking out the low end of this channel we've got going here. We don't really have too close a contact on too many bars here, but we do have some contact, or some frequency, as our good friend Matt Hoyt calls it. S&Ps. Okay. I was all excited this morning coming in with the opportunity to open in or above the late spike that occurred on Friday. We got decent up move last week, the first up move in 4 weeks, and we bring in a whole bunch of open interest? No, we did not. As a matter of fact, we lost 2,500 in open interest on this push to the upside on Friday. Lower volume, although the New York Stock Exchange did put in some pretty good volume on that big spike to the upside on Friday. But what is a late spike? Let's take a look. So this was Friday's profile. Left the opening range below the session, P-shaped. We should have figured that it would be a short covering rally, which should take open interest out of the marketplace. This late spike here, this is the end of the day. If I split this, okay, these are 30-minute bars. In essence, that's what the market profile is. That last 30-minute bar, we rallied and we closed up near the highs. The market did not have time enough to find acceptance through time up here. The market came up here and it closed. So when we have a late spike like this, opening above the late spike the following day or the following trading day should indicate acceptance of higher price. Well, what did we do? Well, here's value high from Friday. Here's value low from today. So value did move higher. The market is attempting to continue to push to the upside by continuing to push value higher. Here's value high in volume profile. Here's value high in volume profile. So the market is attempting to move higher. The question is, how good of a job is it doing in getting there? How good of a job is the market doing pushing higher? After this late spike, opening above it, we left the opening range the high of the session. That's a little bit of a warning shot. So let's go back to the 30-minute chart. So one nuance, opening above a late spike. Okay, that's acceptance of higher price. We might be tempted to jump right in and start looking for longs. Fortunately, this morning, the market gave us a little bit of a warning sign by leaving the opening range, that first minute of trade, at the upper extreme of the range. All right, well, that should give us a little bit of pause to look for better trade location as the day goes on. So we have the late spike. We get to the base of the late spike. Where is that? Where is that? Right here. We look down below it. We close it in value. We reject. We reject here. We come back. We close here. We try and reject here. Now we've rejected value from yesterday. So one of the nuances that we look at is okay, the late spike. Well, we got a late spike, but now we're back in value from the previous day. Does that bring the value area special situation play into fruition or into our mind? It should, because that's contrary information. Late spike, acceptance of higher price. Opening range, the high of the session, rejection of higher price. Acceptance back inside value, rejection of higher price. Does the late spike power have more gumption to it than the value area special situation play, which by and large I believe might be kind of true, because we did end up with an overlapping to higher range and an overlapping to higher area of value. We need help up here, though, ladies and gentlemen. If we don't start to build some open interest on these up moves, this is all going to go hollow. Okay, here's Friday. P-shaped profile. We should have expected short covering. No. P-shaped profile, short covering. P-shaped profile, short covering. Where are the buyers? The buyers have been just taking out shorts, not bringing in new business to the upside. So I'm growing a little bit concerned about where we're going to be headed for the rest of the week. Last week, we knew we had all time frames looking to the short side, and when all time frames are already short, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to head the other direction. Have we adjusted that inventory? We are, of course, waiting for new information in the GDP numbers on Wednesday, as well as some other smaller economic numbers. Yes, there is information in Mind Over Markets on the special value area special situation play. Say that 5 times fast. If you look in the index and back, look for special situations. All right. And it'll show you the 3i day. It'll show you the value area special situation. It'll show you the spike days. Somewhere in the late 200 pages. All right. So let's get through the NASDAQ, and I've got a couple of other questions that we're going to get to at the end here. Here's the NASDAQ, same situation. Same situation. The NASDAQ, we lost about 6,800 in open interest on the final. So again, this rally that we've been experiencing off these lows continues to feel a little bit hollow, because we're not bringing in new business. We're getting out of old business. We're burning shorts, not getting long. P-shape. P-shaped, P-shaped. Okay, value overlapping to higher, range overlapping to higher. We opened above the late spike. I think that's the reason that we did not really get the opportunity to see a full closing of the value area special situation play. The NASDAQ sure gave it a full try. So that might be information for us for moving forward if the market had the opportunity to trade to the low of value after reaccepting inside of value and did not. Sometimes what doesn't happen can be equally as important as what does. Gold, just a inside range bound short time frame controlled session. We had loss of 4,700 in open interest on Friday. Kind of substantial for a market that's not really moving. Here's the 30. So we had the open here. We started coming off as we were coming into the open, but here opening in range, we had a pretty decent opportunity up here, up against value low from Thursday, but you're reaching, when you're looking for opportunities days back, if they haven't been revisited, that's one thing, but if they've been revisited, that's something else. So the market, gave us a better trade location after the market opened and gave us this look up here and then just a rotation back down to the low. Not a great day, not a big range or anything. If you were in the right direction, I would think it would have been very hard to stay in that trade, because where are we? We're not really going that far. I probably would have been like, okay, I caught it good. Point of control yesterday, that sounds like a good exit, or value low, that also sounds like a good exit. Tough trade here in the gold market. Same in the euro. The situation is largely the same as in gold. We got a little bit of a triangle situation going on here. We've got even highs and higher lows. Be starting to look for opportunities to see maybe we get a breakout to the upside or a breakout to the downside, depending on which market, the way the market kind of pushes. It's going to take some acceptance outside of this. We keep coming up to this same level up here. That's a little bit concerning for shorts. Here's the 30-minute. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, even highs. So we opened above value, same as gold. The market went the other direction, though. Gave us a look to the downside. Couldn't get to point of control. We had some overnight longs here when we couldn't get to the settlement price, and that's something that says something. Again, one of those things that what doesn't happen is equally as important as what does. We get the market and we get an opportunity to see this market up against last week's highs, finding resistance and then coming off. The 10-year is another market that's a bit of a mess. Here's the 30-minute chart. Weekly kickoff low, weekly kickoff high is up here. Lots of naked points of control from the past remain here, and those are going to be, rechecked at some point. They're going to be important when they become important, but we had a gap lower today. We were unable to close that gap. We had a gap here on Wednesday to Thursday, unable to close that gap. We've got another gap down here, down to this level. So there's lots of areas of repair in this market, and it leads me to believe that it may just kind of fall into range-bound activity until proven wrong. We've got till July's Fed meeting for this market to kind of wander around a little bit, not really finding good opportunities in short time frame levels. Here's where we open. We traded down. No, that's not looking good there. And what's up here? Well, this is in the middle of a gap, or maybe the high here from Wednesday. But you're again reaching for information. Short time frame levels get respected, but it's the number of levels that you got to be careful of, because there's always, some short time frame level hanging around to try and trick you in. Here's the net gas. So we had right after the close a push down to the weekly low from last week. Here's our start last night. Another attempt to get down to it today, and then it was all buyers all the way up. So these extremes, last week's highs, last week's lows, those extremes seem to be holding relatively important in many of these markets. And, it's just a visual. The last week's high and low are just visual areas that everybody looks at, and it makes it a little bit, well, at least it offers the opportunity to limit risk. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? We all want to limit risk. Okay, so Anthony Rojas, where do you look at the daily open interest? All right. So here is a link for you that's going to take you to the page that I'm going to put up here real quick. Here's the link. All right. So this is the daily bulletin, comes out from the CME group. It's got all of the different products that are traded on the CME group. So we're going to go with equities. I'm going to click on this. Now, right now, it says final. This morning at 6:30, it said preliminary. And pretty much everything on this sheet is going to be accurate except the open interest. So this morning in the S&Ps, this said preliminary, and they were off. It said we had an $1,800 positive change in open interest. It isn't until 9:30, 10 o'clock that this final comes out, and that's our actual open interest. Now, it's not that often that they're this far off. They do make mistakes. The open interest is a difficult thing to calculate, apparently, even for the exchange. Okay, so what I'm looking at is I look at the information I have in the morning, and that's the preliminary. I'll reload the page later on in the session so that I can see the actual. Now, when I collect open interest information, I'm not just looking at the front month. I'm collecting all of the months. All of the contract months is what I'm collecting, as well as volume. Okay, so because there's through September and December and March, all those months can affect the open interest. Probably not that much in the equities, but in the energies. Okay, there's the final, so we know this should be accurate. I'm going to make it bigger, and I'm collecting the total open interest down here. This is the total open interest, and that's the net change in open interest. This is the total volume. Why am I collecting all of this information? Well, take a look at how thick crude oil is. There's 231,000 front month in open interest. 189,000. I mean, this market trades so thick way out into the future that sometimes there may be a change in open interest that happens in a year or two that may affect the bottom line and may affect what we're looking at as far as important information from open interest. All right, so always go back to the final to get the correct numbers. Usually they're not that far off. I get the total volume. I mean, look at the volume. The second month out has 115,000 in volume. That's impactful. We had 2,000, a loss of 2,000 each in the September and October contracts. So there's changes in open interest that are happening in the future that we want to be able to take advantage of and to keep as part of our what is it? Research. Okay, so Anthony, you've got the link. All right, we're in good shape. Something not tragic, but sad, happened in 1985 on this date. Route 66 was decertified and the highway signs were removed. After 59 years, the iconic Route 66 enters the realm of history. And you guys, I don't know if you guys know who Bruce Johnson is. Bruce Johnson, he did a couple of gigs with the Beach Boys, but he was a songwriter. He wrote the song Barry Manilow's "I Write the Songs," and also sang on the recordings for "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me," Elton John, and a lot on Pink Floyd's "The Wall" album. It's his birthday today, 1944. Here's a Led Zeppelin thing. In 1977, a 3-day Bath festival of blues and progressive music in Bath, England took place. This would be My Lollapalooza. The lineup was Santana, The Flock, Led Zeppelin, Hot Tuna, Country Joe McDonald, Coliseum, Jefferson Airplane, The Byrds, Dr. John, Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention, Canned Heat, It's a Beautiful Day, Steppenwolf, Johnny Winter, Johnny Mayall, and Peter Green and Pink Floyd. That would have been my Lollapalooza. Yeah, it's about enough of that. All right. So we've got tomorrow morning, international trade, retail inventories, wholesale inventories, Case-Shiller home price, FHFE housing price, consumer confidence, one or two talking Feds throughout the day, and of course the biggie, GDP on Wednesday, and Jerome Powell speaking at 8 a.m. On Wednesday. So lots of maybe hurry up and wait going on. Hope you had a good trading day. Hope you have a good night. Be good. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Say a prayer for peace. And I'll see you tomorrow morning for the market forecast. Tomorrow is Make Hogue Money, and that is going to happen. I'm looking forward to it. Bring your trade ideas. Bring your knowledgeable trader, and I look forward to spending that time with you tomorrow morning. Again, see you for the forecast at 7:45 and Make Hogue Money at about 8:20. So we will be hanging out. One of the last thing, I'm going on vacation. Thursday is going to be my last day. Our good friend John Doherty, the Dancing Bear, is going to be covering for me next week. I know he's going to be doing a fine job. He's smarter and younger than I am, so I know you'll enjoy spending some time with JD. And that's it. I'll remind you of that as the day goes on, or the week goes on. I'm going to miss you, but I got to step away from the markets for a little while. We all need to do that. If I don't, I think my family's going to be very mad at me. So have a great night. Again, be kind, be good to yourself. Say a prayer for world peace, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Good night.